All right, let's have a look at the new UI of the TinyEasy 3D Tiny House Designer. So what's new? The first thing that you'll see is that we've got a whole new light skin. So it is redesigned so it's easier to look at, and the things that are most important are highlighted, so it makes it easier for you to navigate in the software and find the things that you need. The next thing is that we actually have a new scalable UI. So what you'll see here, we have these two bars here on the side, which is my library bar that you would already know. But what we can do now, we can collapse it and we can expand it. And what you'll also see are those text hints here. And it just makes it a little bit easier for you to find where everything is and what each tool does. And we've also separated the exterior, interior and technical tools, so it's easier to navigate to what you need to use. So for example, if you're designing for the exterior, you can just see, okay, this is my exterior category here. I will go in there and let's say find a window or a door. And so for example, the exterior doors and interior doors are actually pulled apart now as well. So it's easier to just grab whatever you need. Another thing that we've done is when it comes to the library itself, we've actually got a different design when you're going into the subcategories. So for example, the cabinets and furniture are now also dragged apart. And then if you go into the cabinets here, for example, we actually have subcategories. So you can expand and contract different parts of the cabinetry menu, and the same thing goes for all of the other menus as well. So when you're searching for things, it will make it a little bit easier, and especially as we add more things to the software as well, it will make it easier to toggle through different things. Another thing as well, the exterior and interior material accents are not in a material palette anymore. They're actually in their own tools now. So you can just go into the exterior and drag in an accent, or the same thing with the interior here. You can drag in an accent and place it into the interior. So that's new when it comes to the library bar. You'll also see a new plumbing tool come up here, which we'll talk about more soon. And yeah, we've got a new room tag tool as well, which we'll also talk about more soon as well. So that's how the new library bar works. When it comes to accessing your designs, you will now find those in the menu up here. So you can see the first button here, which is view your designs. Then you can go back to the tutorials, your account, and your design settings, which are just the unit systems and the grid size. And a new thing that we've added are the preferences. You can actually go in and change the entire size of the UI. So you can zoom into the page by typing in a higher value. So you can actually adjust this if you need to make the screen size fit the UI a little bit better, or if you have a really large screen and you want to have more screen real estate, you can go in and zoom out. I like to keep it at maybe 110%. But I have got a 32-inch screen, so you probably will need to add, let's say, 130% if you have a smaller laptop screen or something like that. You can also now change the size of the 3D dimensions and the 2D dimensions, so these here. So if they're a little bit too small or too large on your screen, you can adjust those in the settings now too. All right, I'll just quickly go back and change it back to 110%, which works for my screen here. And the next thing that I wanted to show you is the new material system. So I'm just going to quickly go in and enable my walls and roofs again here. But let's say you want to change the material of your tiny house. Rather than going into your master materials and the materials down here, we've actually improved the system to make it much faster for you. So let's say we want to go in and select this cabinet here, and we want to change the material of all of my cabinet countertops, for example. We'll just go into my materials and grab my countertop, and we'll say I want to override this material, and we'll want to make this, let's say, just a paint color. So we'll just make it blue here, for example. So all of those colors now show up here as well on the right, and you actually have a nice preview with a text, and you can also toggle through different categories as well, which will speed up your workflow. And now instead of just overwriting this one material, you can actually go in and apply the material to all other cabinets, which just overrides them super quickly. So that's how you would change the materials for the objects in your tiny house. Then the last thing when it comes to the top bar here, the save button is now up here, and tools like the tape measure, flipping the interior and moving the interior up here now. Then exporting to SketchUp and Takeoff are now in the export drop down here, and the render and generate plans tool have their own buttons up here. So you can access the settings for each tool, and you will see the settings pop up over here. And then if you want to render an image, you go into render now. If you want to generate your planes, you put in your settings and click generate planes. Yeah, that's the quick overview of the UI of when you're adding objects or you're changing materials and you're navigating through different designs. The last thing when it comes to actually modifying your design while you're editing it. So for example, if you want to switch into 2D mode or 3D mode, you can do that down here now. You can change the different cameras. You can actually reset your camera as well if you got stuck somewhere. And enabling and disabling your walls are now down here as well. The same thing goes with enabling and disabling your loft. And we have further view settings like enabling your plumbing, your room tags, your cabinets and dimensions. Depending on what license you're on, this will be in here. And then enabling and disabling your layers is in the new layer tab here.